The weather forecast looks good, although at the moment there are clouds all over the sky, but apparently it's going to get out, and everything should be fine for some astronomy later this evening. So there's the Celestron C925 on the SUGX mount, and I'm going to be doing some planetary photography tonight of Jupiter and Saturn, but then later on I'll be doing some deep sky objects. Now, as I need to change what's on the back of the scope, we've got a star diagonal and an eyepiece on there at the moment. We're going to take that off, and initially we'll just have the Barlow lens on with the ASI 120mm Mini, and then later on we'll have the full ASI 294MC Pro, the off-axis guider, the ASI 120mm Mini acting as the guide scope, and so on. So there's going to be quite a change in the amount of weight that we've got on the back of the scope. Now at the moment I've got this configured so that it's sort of on my marks there for the ASI 120 Mini on its own. So as we go through the session, we're going to have to change the balance in declination because of the different weights of things on the back of the scope. So because that's a pain in the chunks to do, particularly with my PC mount, it consists of these two things and my PC mount plate and DC distribution, what I've done is I've come up with this. So this is a declination counterweight system. So we've got 3 steel weights there of 200 grams, 200 grams and 100 grams. I've got this which fits over the dovetail. It's got some springs in it. We've then got a clamping bolt and a cap for the clamping bolt, and this retains the weights inside the counterweight enclosure. So if we pop all the weights in, you can see they're sprung loaded, and then when we pop this in, hang on a second, I'll be back once I've pushed it in. There we go, that's now pushed in, and there's a captive nut at this end, so then we screw this in here, and once that's nipped up, the weights are sprung, which means that they're not going to rattle around as the scope moves around the sky, and then the captive bolt pops through from the back. Over the top. Whoops. Try not to lose that down the drain. Just wind it back a little bit. And then that can go straight onto the end of the dovetail, and at the moment it's fully populated. Right, so we'll push that on there. And we can then change these weights out, so we can have no weights, 100 grams, 200 grams, 300 grams, 400 grams or 500 grams, and it can be moved backwards and forwards as needed and then locked in place dependent on what we've got on the back of the scope. So that's all tightened up, and that will give us 500 grams at that distance from the centre of the pivot point of the mount. So that allows me to have a lot of adjustment. And here we have it mounted with no weights, so I'll just set up the scope ready for planetary stuff, and then I can add the weights and move the counterweight on the declination axis around as I need to.